Hello everybody, my name is Tailor, and today I'm going to be talking about the monarch butterfly, and specifically its host plant, which are the Asclepias, or the milkweeds. So, as many people do know, the monarchs are in decline, and I'm going to quickly explain the reason why they are in decline. So, as the monarchs move from Mexico, which is where they hibernate throughout the winter months, they move up into the central Great Plains, moving up to states like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, in these states to lay their eggs. That first generation then lays their eggs on milkweed. They can only lay their eggs on milkweed for one specific reason. Milkweed contains a substance called latex, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. Latex is a toxic substance to most species of animal and insects and other things, but the monarchs, however, have become milkweed specialists. So monarchs need the latex in order for their babies to become toxic. The toxicity that's found within these baby caterpillars allows them not to be eaten or consumed by birds and other insects. So this allows them to reproduce. The first wave then of the monarchs that arrived here to lay their eggs, they pass away. And then their babies move on to northern areas in northern states around the Great Lakes and up into Canada to lay their eggs once again on milkweed. Then as those babies hatch out, they come back down here into the fall months around this time of year, September, to then once again lay their eggs again. They pass away, and then those babies make their way back to Florida, and down to Mexico to hibernate for the winter, so they can restart the cycle. But the thing that has been most affecting them is a mix of pesticide use and herbicide uses that kill these milkweeds, and then the pesticides actually harm and kill the monarchs. So their numbers have dropped significantly, up to 90%, some estimates say. So the best way to help personally, and this is how you can help the monarchs, is to, first of all, not use pesticides. That would be the biggest starter. And second of all, to plant the native host plants, which are the Asclepias, or the milkweed. Now there are dozens of species of milkweed. There's butterfly milkweed, there's pink showy swamp milkweed, which is the one I have here. We have showy milkweed, we have white swamp milkweed, and then many other species I'm not going to get into today. But one of the most common is the butterfly milkweed. This one is very important. I'll put a clip on there of that. This one is extremely important as it is also a food source for the monarchs, but their babies also need it to so they can reproduce. So we're going to move over here, and this is an area where I have some swamp milkweed. Now the monarchs also need many other native plants to get food along their way, so the adult monarchs can keep traveling and then have the energy to lay more eggs to keep moving on. But one of the areas right here, and I will show this. I'm not sure if I can actually handle them, but I'm going to try to. We have a baby monarch. So I'll show this here. They're absolutely beautiful. I just removed him. I'm going to put him right back onto the plant he was on. He was munching away on the swamp milkweed. So I'll put him back here. But this one will mature and actually be one of the ones that heads on down to Mexico for the winter time. There you go, buddy. So just by planting milkweed and stopping pesticide use, your yard can become a monarch way station. If you look up the rules and restrictions for monarch way stations, you may be even able to start and get it certified as a monarch way station. This can happen, all you need is 100 square feet and at least 10 monarch plants and some other host plants that'll bloom throughout the year, so the monarch can keep moving on from state to state in order to return back to Mexico to complete its cycle. So all you need to do in order to help the monarchs is to get some milkweed seed of any species and plant it in your area, as long as it is a native species. Non-native species actually can disrupt the cycle by not dying off until the first frost, confusing the monarchs to keep laying eggs too late into the season. Whenever it's too late to return to Mexico, they'll actually freeze to death. So do not plant if you're in a warm state like here in Oklahoma, where I am at. One of the species that people plant a lot is the tropical milkweed. The tropical milkweed actually does the opposite by confusing the monarchs to stick around to lay their babies on these milkweeds until it is too late. So make sure it is a native species that knows whenever it's time to go to sleep for the winter to make sure the monarchs continue their cycle, because there's an important symbiotic relationship between these two, this butterfly and this plant. The butterflies themselves are something that a lot of people adore. They love the milkweed, or they love the monarchs, along with many kids. They're mesmerizing, and their numbers used to be in the hundreds of millions. Used to come across and blot out the sky with their numbers. Now their numbers have dwindled. So in order to help them, we must come together as communities, as individuals even, and plant those milkweeds. A lot of people feel hopeless in the fight against climate change and against things like the loss of biodiversity. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm only one person, what can I do? That's said by 8 billion people. So if everyone goes out and does a little bit, including planting a native plant, it doesn't have to be a milkweed. If you want to help the monarchs, you can also plant things like asters, like goldenrods, and other species of sunflowers that I've talked about on this channel plenty of other times in order to help these species. So I hope you learned something from this video today. Please comment or and ask questions down below if you have any comments or concerns with this video or wanting to know anything else. I'm glad to respond to everybody's comments. But thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.